Trumpism is a bold and profoundly different way of thinking that needs codification and development through action. The combination of inertia and the relentless hostility of the left will challenge the very survival of Trumpism. Trumpism, I think, is much more than just motion. It's much more than just being active. Trumpism is ultimately and at its heart an appeal to the American people.
All right, former Speaker of the House, that was him there delivering a speech at the Heritage Foundation about a movement that he's now calling Trumpism. He joins us now for more. All right, why don't I just ask you, what is Trumpism?
Look, Trumpism is the set of values and attitudes and practices that Donald J. Trump has brought to American government and politics. You can get pieces of it by reading two of his books, The Art of the Deal and The Art of the Comeback. You get pieces of it by looking at his campaign and by looking at his speeches. I'm going to give you one example of how, and I tell people this is a watershed moment, if we make it work. You know, we have a Trump rally on the stock market. Now you got to turn it into a Trump reality in the real economy. So one example, which you and I were talking about earlier, the woman's skating rink, Central Park, doesn't produce ice, which is very embarrassing. I mean, a skating rink with no ice is really stupid.
And this went on for years. 6
years.
Yes.
6 years. The city of New York bureaucracy tries to fix the skating rink. Trump finally gets so irritated because he can see it from his apartment that he publicly taunts Mayor Koch. Koch finally convinces, all right, smart guy, I'm going to give you the skating rink. You got $3 million in 6 months.
How much have they already wasted?
The thing they wasted $13 million over $13 million for 6 years. The thing I love about it is in The Art of the Deal, he says, now that I was in charge, I realized I didn't know anything about fixing skating rinks. This is very Trumpian.
Yeah.
He says, so I asked myself, who knows about fixing skating rinks? And I thought, Canadians.
He's right.
So I found the best Canadian skating rink company. Now, first of all, this is what leads him to Jim Mattis. This is what leads him to Rick Perry. I mean, he's going to look for the best to come in. It's a piece of what Trumpism is, as opposed to liberalism, which would look for the right token surrogate, even if they were incompetent.
Or identity politics.
Identity politics. So they come in, 6 years, $13 million failure, 2.5 months, $3 million success. Now, here's my point.
Under budget, actually.
This is, by the way, under budget and 3 months ahead of schedule. Here's why we have to abolish the Congressional Budget Office. If you went to the Congressional Budget Office and said, we want you to score fixing the woman's skating rink, there is no possibility they would score it at a Trumpian level.
That's a good point.
You say, what's it going to take to build a wall? My question is, the bureaucracy or Donald J. Trump? What's it going to take to get man back on the moon? The bureaucracy or Donald J. Trump? Because what Trumpism is the cutting through the baloney, eliminating the red tape, being frugal and practical.
How, then you can answer the question I raised in my monologue. You got $1 trillion infrastructure project. You and I both know if you run that through Washington, D.C., you lose 50 cents on the dollar.
It'll be like the stimulus. But there are two parts of this, okay? Don't think of $1 trillion bill. Think of $1 trillion effect.
Help me out.
Okay. We set up a public-private partnership, and a whole bunch of folks run in and say, I'm going to put up half the money. Federal amount just fell to half of it. We say to the Canadians, let's do some cross-border deals together. They put up half the money. We say, let's cut through the red tape. And I researched this for years. If you go out and you talk to Governor Levin and what he did in Utah for the Winter Olympics. You go and you talk to Pete Wilson, what he did after the Northridge earthquake. You talk to Schwarzenegger, what he did after the gasoline truck blew up on the Oakland Bridge. You talk to Mitch Daniel, what he did when he leased the interstate, got the cash, and built bridges across the Ohio outside of federal regs. And you talk to John Kasich, who also found some extra money, and Kasich did the same thing. 5 governors, all of whom get stuff at 40% of the cost ahead of schedule. And now you take those rules. I just did a thing today with Philip Henry, who Philip Howard, I'm sorry, who's probably the best thinker on regulatory reform in the country. If we took federal, state, and local regs, put them into one office, and did them concurrently, you probably save 2/3 of the time it currently takes to build something.
Look, this is going to be your role. You do have a role in this administration. That's what you're.
Well, I have a role as a citizen in the country.
That's what I mean.
But it's in the country. I mean, it's 4,177 Republican state legislators, 34 governors.
But you have a role. But you will be that special advisor that
Yes, I hope so.
that hopefully brings those ideas in.
I hope so. That's why I come on your show. The most efficient method of advice in the country is to be on your show.
Okay, I'll take that as a compliment. Mr. Speaker, good to see you.
Good to
Thank
see
you.
you.
It's great to have you. By the way, your new book is on Amazon.com and my website, Hannity.com.
It's called Electing Trump.
Electing Trump. All right, when we come back, busy night. This is next.
My administration will be focused on 3 very important words: jobs, jobs, jobs.